What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today is May the 5th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is focusing on today. Before we get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, as far as data points, big one for today is ISM Services coming out at 9 a.m. Current forecast for that is 50.3. One key thing to really watch for is that benchmark of 50. If it's going to close above it or below it, shows more of a contraction or expansion occurring in the broader market. So definitely something to take note of. Aside from that, it is going to be trade talks. A lot of articles coming out this morning are saying that the futures are down this morning because of kind of the upcoming Fed decision rate. I completely disagree with that because that's coming out on Wednesday. What's really causing the market to be down this morning, so Dow is down 0.61, S&P 0.76, NASDAQ 1.01, is because late last night we did have Trump state a couple things. One is that there's no plans to talk to China this week, and that essentially he still kind of looks like he went on a rant saying that China is ripping the states off. So at the end of the day, the market was fairly optimistic that there was going to be a China-US deal, but it looks as though not so much. And he also did state that there is going to be a deal coming this week. He just doesn't want to say who. And to be fully fair though, he also said that last week. So we'll just have to wait and see what does come from all this, but the market obviously doesn't like this level of grayness. Aside from that though, like I mentioned, just institutions are just holding their breath for a lot of big speculative companies unveiling their earnings, such as Palantir and HIMS. Both are getting a lot of volume this morning, so I'll go over that in a second. But we do see the fear and greed index. It did move from the fear to the neutral category, and in fact it might actually creep over to the greed early this morning, meaning people's appetite for risk is increasing. So pretty good stuff as far as that. SOFI is down 2+%. No news, no SEC filings, so just simply piggybacking off the broader market and getting hit a little bit more, I would say. But aside from that, 13.75% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 149 million shares. Couple of key points to watch for with it at 1243 pre-market, trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 1214 is going to be a strong support, so just watch for that. Flip side, 1312 is that next strong target / resistance point. And sorry, my voice is raspy. Definitely getting very, very sick coming. But aside from that though, just kind of take note of some of the support and resistance points. As moving on from here though, Palantir down slightly, but there's a lot of volume getting in. So when it comes down to Palantir, they do have their earnings coming out after hours. This is the current estimates, so 13 cents for the earnings per share, 862.13 million for the revenue. Over the last 90 days, you have 12 positive and 0 negative revisions to the earnings per share. And so as you can kind of see, I'll pull up Palantir. So the current implied move is roughly 12.12%. So $15 move in either direction. Last couple earnings, you can kind of see has been seen as a positive. So the last earnings in February caused it to go up 23.99%. Prior one to that. So yeah, I think all in all, it should make for a very good earnings. So let me know your viewpoint on that. So last three have all been a beat. And like I said, this is kind of the highest that Palantir has ever been. So in my opinion, regardless of the results, you're going to have a lot of people just questioning the multiples. And that's one thing that has really plagued Palantir, is that yes, they are growing. They are a beast. Never bet against them. But at the same time, if you're comparing, for instance, Palantir to another growth or speculative play, possibly in the same sector, it has a very high multiple. So I think that's one thing that Wall Street is doesn't really like about Palantir, but what do I know? But moving on, 2.35% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 51.17 million shares. So at the end of the day, shorts have PTSD. They're very much against doubling down with Palantir. So they even know that you don't bet against Palantir. So kind of crazy stuff. So let me know your viewpoint and where you feel Palantir is going to land post earnings. With it though, at 123 and change, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So 121 and then 101 is going to be the strong support levels, and then flip side 133 and then 153 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. HIMS, so this one is up 2.03%. I believe during the overnight it was up like 5% at one time. So this one is also another one that has their earnings after hours today. So 23 cents for the earnings per share, 538.87 million for the revenue. Over the last 90 days, you have 4 positive and 3 negative revisions to the earnings per share. Looks like the implied move is 16.41%, so roughly a $7 move in either direction. Last couple of earnings on day one, looks like it went down, so possibly that could follow again. So let me know your thoughts on that, and if you think HIMS is going to beat or not. I'm not really a big fan of HIMS. I think it's just overdone, but with that being said, I do feel like there is a small amount of upside dependent on the results. So I think coming from a multiple standpoint, it's a little bit more appropriately priced. That's a good way of putting it than, for instance, Palantir. But as far as shorts, you do have it very heavily shorted. So 34.03% of the free floats being shorted, works to be 66.08 million shares. So shorts are at all-time highs going into their earnings. So very bold. So they are clearly anticipating for them to miss on their earnings. There's no other explanation why they'd be doubling down to this extent. Utilization is a 39.81 on a side note. Couple key points with it at 41 and change. It is trading between this R3 and this R2, so $40.30, 37.01, and then 31.67 is going to be good support levels. Flip side, 45.64 is going to be the next strong target / resistance point. Moving on from here, you have Wolf. No news from them whatsoever. A couple looks like management changes over the last couple trading days, but it is up 8.52%, and 42.05% of the free floats being shorted, works it to be 64.87 million shares. So a lot of volume is getting into the stock early morning, and again, with it being heavily shorted, that might put them in a little bit of a pinch, so something to kind of keep in mind. But right now with it at 479, it is trading between these 2 points. So this R2, R1, 445, and then 344 is going to be the strong support points. 507 and then 608 is going to be the next strong target / resistance point. So if you're a day trader, kind of just watch for those. In my opinion, with this stock, it might have a quick burst to this R2, but most likely will bounce off of that and consolidate down a little bit. So yeah, let me know your viewpoint. And then last but not least, tickers RXRX. So they did just have their earnings. It's down slightly, so 4 or 5%. It's somewhat heavily shorted, so 23.56% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 90.23 million shares. And so shorts have been slowly and steadily getting in, as you can kind of see right there. So maybe they didn't really do all that much leading into the earnings, so maybe they were kind of torn whether their earnings was going to be a beat or not. But with it at 545, trading between these 2 points, so this R1 and the pivot, so 516 and then 428 is going to be a strong support point. So if you're looking at getting in, possibly oriented around that 516. Flip side, 605 and then 660 is going to be the next strong target / resistance point. So let me know your thoughts. This is what big money is somewhat focusing on today when it comes to Palantir and HIMS earnings. Do you think that they're going to beat? Do you think that they're going to miss? What's your general thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some kick-ass buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.